It's Today in Putnam County with Shan Stout.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Today in Putnam County. I'm Shan Stout, and we are so excited to be here today. So it's another week, another exciting guest, and I'm here with my co-host, Tessa Davis, who, of course, is the Director of Marketing for the Cookeville Putnam County Visitors Bureau. And we also have our guest today, Susan Miranda. Susan, you are the Executive Director of Bryan Symphony Orchestra. And I have been telling everyone you are on your Goodwill campaign tour. I mean, this is your press tour to beat all press tours. I have never seen Bryan Symphony Orchestra receive so much press from the executive director going. I mean, you've been everywhere. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast today.
Well, thank you for having me. And honestly, it has just been such a welcoming community that everyone says, well, hey, we want you, and so I haven't,
and
I've tried a
yes.
little hard, but not that hard.
Well, we're so grateful that you're here. You have had a banner month. This has been an exciting transition for you, but as Cookeville, we're grateful to have you. You always want to have someone that is enthusiastic, competent, capable, and also, have a passion for what you do, and you do. The first time I met you, I was like, oh my goodness, please never leave us.
Thank you.
You're wonderful. So let's go back in time.
Sure.
First off, how did we acquire you? Because your resume is fantastic. And I've never met an oboist. Am I saying that correctly?
You are.
I'm hoping I am. It makes me feel cultured. It may make musicians think I'm ignorant, but we don't know. But you are what I call the oboist of all oboists. I mean, you that's where you got your start. Let's talk about your love of music and how it turned into a career path for you.
Yeah. I mean, do you want me to go way back?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I come from a fairly musical family. Actually, our conductor, Dan Alcott, he knows two of my dad's siblings.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. He went to Indiana University with one of them.
Did he find that out after the fact?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So you didn't even know.
I didn't know. So I have a very, very musical family on my dad's side. And so it's just kind of what we do. You play an instrument. I started piano in first grade, and then in fifth grade, you do your band instrument. And so I started playing oboe in fifth grade. Oh. And I just really took to the oboe.
And you didn't try any other instrument?
No.
Or did it evolve to the... Okay, so you just said oboe it is.
So most people will start on like a clarinet or something, and then eventually somebody will say switch to the oboe. But that's actually kind of a gift of having a musical family is they said, nope, we're going to get you a private teacher. We're going to, start you out right. We're going to start you with a quality instrument.
So this is like Father Knows Best.
Yeah.
It was like, here's what you're going to do.
Absolutely. So I was really lucky in that aspect. So, yeah. And so I played the oboe for a while. I played with the church choir when they allowed me, when I was old enough and good enough to. And then actually my parents started a children's service at our church. And so I got to both play and sing. And my dad plays piano, he plays cello, and he sings.
Wow.
And
so you were leading people at a very young age.
I was.
You
in
were
middle
role-playing business. This is adorable.
Yeah, I know. And so, it just kind of grew from there. I actually went to the Interlochen Arts Academy my senior year of high school. So, I got to the point to where, okay, the people in our area were still fine musicians, but I needed the next level up. And so I actually went to a boarding school as a high schooler.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's talk about that experience because there's a lot of people. I have a few friends where they sent their children to boarding school, right?
It's not because I was a bad kid.
No, not that kind of boarding school. Yes, this is an elevated boarding school.
Right.
And so I'm always enamored because I find that you get a very high quality education that way. It is very focused. It is very specific. So what about that experience was good or bad?
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty intense. And there's all of these students, kids around you just practicing like crazy. I remember there was a cello student And he bragged one day about practicing for 9 hours straight. And I went, I don't think I want to do that, but good for you, you know? Like,
so this is kind of an iron sharpens iron situation where when you're around ambitious, almost colleagues. These are your co-students with you, your friends, but everyone is having to elevate what they know and being exposed to people that are, I've always said it's better to work with people that are smarter than you, that have more skills than you. If you are the top in your field and you work amongst people that know less than you and do less than you, you really don't elevate yourself any further.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you were in this scenario where you were having to decide how ambitious you were going to be, because there's always someone better than you. Yeah. Always.
Speaking of, the principal oboe of the Atlanta Symphony, she and I went to Interlochen together.
Oh my goodness.
So isn't it fun how like some of these
full circle. Yes.
Yes.
So now, you started out in music. Your love of the oboe was apparent. Your driven force of your family having the knowledge and the precursor, that pre-ambition for you to kind of put you on the right path early. So it's opened a lot of doors for you.
Yes.
So let's talk about kind of your resume and how you got here.
Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like, yes, my resume has opened a lot of doors, but I think that I have handcrafted my resume, if that makes sense. So I had an interesting kind of in the middle of my career path, like college, and some of those things didn't happen in the way that the normal person or, normal musician would do them. I got into some very good schools. I got into some top-notch conservatories, and I didn't go. I ended up getting married at 21.
Oh my goodness, 21.
That is no longer. And it's a good thing, because after that, I actually quit playing the oboe for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy.
So did that develop an appreciation later where like you had to miss it? You took a break and then you missed it?
Yes. I think, I think oboe and music in a way is partially my own personal religion, if you will. Like I cannot be me without that kind of core part of myself.
Well, and music, I'm going to say, and this is a tiny blip. Most people don't know this about me, but I started out studying to be a concert pianist.
So did
so
my dad.
that and it was very
so crazy.
Very demanding, very disciplined, and I would practice 18 hours a week. I mean, that was my regular regimen. And there was always someone better than me, and that was my friend Ellen Wu.
Ellen.
And not only was Ellen brilliant, but she was Asian, and she had the superpower that all Asians have. She just kicked my tail all day long, and I just was like, oh my goodness. And I would say, Ellen, I'm going to take you down this time, and we'd go to a competition, and then she would beat me by 3 points, and I would go home and be like, oh. And then finally the day came, and I was able to beat Ellen one time, only one time. But that took an entire lifetime of us being friends.
So funny.
And but there's something about, I consider music a therapy, and also almost an obsession, because when you're a musician, you want to get it perfect, right? And there's only one way to get it perfect. It's like math. I mean, you have to do. This is the way it's supposed to sound, and here's the rhythm and the timing, and to get it exact, it is almost a mathematical equation that has a melody. And so I'm very fascinated by other people and their journey, because you are so good at your craft, and now you're on kind of the administrative side of the oboe. Right. So let's talk about... did you apply for the job for Bryan Symphony Orchestra? Were you recruited? Because I know a little bit behind the scenes with you, and it is some spectacular compliment to you, but we'll get to that in a moment.
So I had been looking for another opportunity. So I was the visiting assistant professor of oboe at Oklahoma State last year. And what a visiting professor is kind of a one-year position, right? And so I knew that it was going to be temporary, and I was playing with the idea of, do I just go back to freelancing, which is kind of what I had done prior to the full-time college job. And then I also was starting to apply to things that looked interesting, right?
Yes.
I was being a little picky, but this was one of those, maybe handful of arts admin jobs that looked interesting to me. So I applied. They gave me a call out of the blue. I was driving to pick up my daughter from school, and they said, "Hey, this is the Bryan Symphony. Do you have a chance to talk?" And I was so caught off guard. And I think I didn't answer all of the questions very well because I hadn't prepared, which maybe is a better tell because they knew that they were true answers. And then I had a Zoom interview a few weeks after that, and it's history.
Well, and Susan, I'm going to say for our viewing and listening audience, I was told by the people that sat in the room to review your resume, to have kind of the after party, the after meeting for your interviews, and the vote for you. Now, this is a very coveted position because it is I'm going to call it semi-creative because there's a body of work behind it that is very serious and very driven to be done well. But there's also the creative part of being, that executive director over an orchestra. And we have a lot of philanthropic parts of Bryan Symphony Orchestra. There's just a lot of pieces that appeal to people in the music industry, okay? And so this was a competitive job. And you got a unanimous vote behind the scenes. They unanimously voted for you. And I think that starts you off on a really good foot. And you said you didn't even know that. No. You didn't know that but it has to bolster the confidence in what the board has. Yeah. They believe in you. You don't have anybody that's the bad apple in the bunch going, I knew we shouldn't have voted for her. Everybody was like, yes, this is the one. Yeah. And now you're starting off with such a strength and a firm foundation. So how does that make you feel? Because it would make me feel great.
It feels great. Yes, it's fabulous. It's nice to be supported in this type of a role by the board of directors. That's huge. I mean, that's what everyone hopes and dreams for in this kind of a position. So it's really great.
You have a great board.
Yes,
They all care very, very deeply about bringing music and culture to our community. And this is a rare unicorn of a model that we have. And I think that the residents in Cookeville really, I'm not going to say they take it for granted. I think that they really may not appreciate it at the maximum level as other communities look and going, oh my gosh, I would give anything to have that in my community, because that's what we hear from visitors. Yeah. When they come in and they're kind of looking for a place and they're thinking about moving here and they find out about Bryan Symphony Orchestra and all that you guys have to offer, they're like, oh, that was the piece that I was afraid was going to be missing me moving from a big city to a rural community. I didn't want to give that up, and yet here it is, and even almost more accessible because tickets are limited in a big city. Like it's hard to get in to see things because you have a large populace, and here. It's just more accessible, more friendly, more Southern. And I just think it's wonderful. So the last we talked, you had not yet done your first concert. Right. And so you were looking forward to it. You were promoting it. Yes. But now it has happened and you have more things on the horizon. So talk to me about that. How did it go? How did it feel?
The concert was fabulous. Yes. I was told by multiple people that it went really well and maybe better than some others in the past. So that made me feel really good. Obviously, there were a lot of, hands in the pot. So I was not the only person doing things. But we already brought in some new initiatives. We sold some T-shirts in the lobby, which made
that's fabulous.
Some
I have
income.
to have one,
right?
Yes, I have to have one.
Well, the old season T-shirts are only $10, so I'll bring you one. But just little things like that, and there's a patron who has a little station for kids that can kind of color or maybe do a crossword. We'll knit a crossword. What are those circle? Where you circle the word. I don't know.
Word search?
Word search,
that one. Yes.
A word search. Where, maybe you find harp or, the composer's name. Yeah, I know. And so that is so fun. But our most recent concert was the Dairy Berry. concerto competition winner, and that was Andrew Frost. And so he played a 3-movement marimba concerto that was fabulous by Eric Oazen, who is a living composer. And of that piece and the Coleridge Taylor work, those were the 2 most popular pieces on the program, which is really fun. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
It was a really good concert.
I heard good things.
Good.
I couldn't be there myself. I had a conflicting event, so I was so upset. But there's more to see, and there's more to participate in with Bryan Symphony Orchestra.
Yes.
And when we come back, we are now talking with Susan Miranda, the Executive Director of Bryan Symphony Orchestra, and Tessa Davis, my co-host. And we're going to talk about the things that are on the horizon and how you can support Bryan Symphony Orchestra. So stay with us. Don't go away. You're listening to Today in Putnam County.
We're back with Today in Putnam County with Shan Stout.
Welcome back to Today in Putnam County. I'm Shan Stout, and we have been talking with the Executive Director of Bryan Symphony Orchestra, the illustrious and talented Susan Miranda, and also my co-host, Tessa Davis. And we have been talking all things music and culture here. And Susan, your journey with being the new hire for Bryan Symphony Orchestra, and you have hit the ground running. You have been on so many radio interviews, podcast interviews, personal visits, public events. I have seen you everywhere. So we are honored that you put us down on your calendar to talk with us today. We're excited to hear about the first success of your first concert at Bryan Symphony Orchestra. And we are going to bring up all the ways that you can support Bryan Symphony Orchestra. So hang with us, because there are events coming up. There are ways that you can support them monetarily and all of that. But first, Tessa is itching to ask you about something. We found out, I'm not going to say, we did a background check or anything, but Tessa did some serious deep digging into your background. And, Tessa, I'm just going to let you handle this, because Susan, she has commissioned musical projects in tandem with your favorite subjects.
Yes. So I did a little research, just some light research, and I found out that you're combining 2 of my loves, music and the outdoors. And I'll tell you, I can't play piano. I can't play oboe, but I can play Amazing Grace, just a little bit on the harmonica, but that's as far as it goes. So I stick to outdoors.
But she'd rather do that while sitting by a waterfall. So.
So I stick to the outdoors, and you are doing music based on some of our national parks. And I read you've been to 260 national parks?
266.
Okay, 266.
Let the record show.
Right?
Wow.
266.
Okay, I'm so jealous, and I want to know, how did you get started in doing that?
So the National Park travel kind of started when my daughter was 5 years old, and I'm a single mom, and it's expensive to go on vacation.
Yes.
And so I tried to figure out, how do I do this? How do I still be that really awesome, cool mom and not spend hundreds of dollars, right? And so we took a trip out west, mostly Utah, and we went to a bunch of national parks. You have to pay for a national park pass, but then you can go to all of
the
them.
parks.
Yeah. And so, that's an investment, but it's way cheaper than some other vacations that you could have. So,
Mom of the Year.
Oh,
I mean, that's amazing.
You'll have to ask her.
Well, your child gets to experience such a broad and vast. I mean, the state parks they all have a similar thread that they want you to experience and appreciate nature. So your natural assets are there, but they're all very, very different. So the experience is so diverse.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite state park?
Okay, that was my question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tessa.
I'll
give it to you.
That. Out of all the 266 national parks, which one would you say is your top favorite?
Okay, it's kind of an out there random answer, because there's a park in Idaho, and you know that you're almost there because you're driving 80 and there's nothing else out there. And it's called Craters of the Moon.
I've heard of it.
It's so
yes,
cool.
that's on my list.
So the reason that it's called that is because it's all of this black, like magma rock everywhere. I mean, everywhere, as far as the eye can see. So it looks like you're essentially on the moon.
Yeah.
But I guess there are some plates there that kind of split at some point, and it just came up, and it's so cool.
And so it's just lava-covered
Just lava.
landscaping
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, my
That's
goodness.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's really neat.
Oh, wow. And she
I'm
had
jealous.
a favorite. I was worried that she would be like one of these I can't pick a favorite like my children, but all my children, each of them privately say that I know I'm your favorite.
Oh.
So all the state parks are like, we know that we're
Right.
really your favorite, but you've really pulled the trigger. You are a
Yes.
decision maker.
And I love that you gave, a different answer than, Yosemite,
I know.
Grand Teton,
Right.
Yellowstone. I
Yeah.
love that it's something different, but it's definitely on my list. Hopefully I'll make it there one day.
Yeah, it's super cool. But
Well-
yeah, so, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I love that the state parks also, they'll have a passport where you can get a stamp,
Yes.
And I think that is such a fun experience as an adult, not even for kids. Like, that is a fun way to, get that
Yes.
stamp in your state park passport. But let's talk about the musical journey, because apparently you can't do anything, even vacation, without having a musical
Yeah.
component. So,
work a
Tessa, I'm gonna give this to you. I won't poach your question, but about these musical commissions.
Yeah, what inspires you whenever you go to these parks? What pieces of the park do you use as inspiration for the
Yeah.
music?
Well, my project started in Minnesota, and Minnesota has 5 national park sites. And it started in tandem with my best friend, who is a harpist.
Oh,
Yeah. So we have a duo. I know.
Of course she is.
Very talented. I've
Yeah.
seen a few
Yeah.
videos in my research.
Oh, she's phenomenal.
Very
Yeah,
talented.
She's fantastic in your research. So
She was spying on you. Let's just be
Right,
clear.
I know.
Yeah, she was.
I
She was
know.
completely trolling you on social media.
So that's
I'm
the
a
new
fan.
YouTube
I'm sorry, I'm a
subscriber.
fan.
Right. That's amazing. So anyway, she and I started this project with the Mississippi River, and we both were living in Minnesota at the time. She's now in Arizona, and I'm in Tennessee. So, but we still get to play together. But yeah, so we started with the Mississippi River, which the chunk that is a national park site runs through Minnesota. And so we commissioned Catherine Bergman, who's a Minnesota composer, to write a piece about the river in the winter. And that actually turned into a piece for oboe and concert band that I premiered. And so
amazing.
just so cool. And so that kind of inspired me to continue. And so then the idea was, let's do all of Minnesota. So there are currently 3 pieces about Minnesota parks. And then I ended up going to Kansas for grad school. And so the most recent park that was completed is a Kansas park, Fort Larned. And so soon there will also be an Oklahoma park and a park in Corpus Christi. Padre Island is going to be the next one.
So what is your
exciting.
goal? Like when is the end of this? Are you just going to keep going as long as nature inspires you?
Yeah, well, and it's cool because the national parks aren't just nature, right? We have these historic parks, we have these forts, we have,
monuments
Oh my
and-
gosh,
yeah.
there is so Brown versus Board of Education in Kansas. So there are very meaningful things that aren't just natural beauty. So it's interesting because with the natural beauty, you can look at it and go, oh, this is inspiring. But with some of the other parts, you kind of have to find internally, like, what is that feeling inside, and how do I create that in music? So luckily, I don't have to do that part. I just play the music that's written for me. But it's really fun to, I guess, for the Oklahoma park, my composer, Heather Ellis Kane, is a big hiker. And so she and I actually went on a big hike together.
So she gets it.
Yes.
She completely gets what the assignment is.
Yes. And so she's working on a piece for me right now that I will play in the first week of May.
Now, how are these available to listen to online? Is there where is this resource of music that has been commissioned and composed for all these places.
Sure. So I have a YouTube page. So I think you can probably just type Susan Miranda oboe and find my YouTube. However, I recently got a grant that is actually going to allow me to make my first solo CD.
That is amazing.
So exciting.
I know.
That's great.
I'm very excited.
Congratulations. Okay,
Thank you.
Speaking of excitement, we have just a few minutes more before our interview comes to a sad, sad end. So tell us about the future of Bryan Symphony Orchestra. What is coming up? Yes. What are your goals for the future, and how can our listeners participate?
Yes. So we have a couple concerts. We have March 29th, and one of our TTU faculty members, trombonist Joshua Hauser, is going to be doing a solo. And so we're very excited about that. He's playing a solo by Lars Erik Larsson, who is a composer that I was not familiar with. So I'm really excited to hear that. We'll play some Benjamin Britten on that concert. It should be a really lovely concert. And Britten is a late 1900s composer, my brain. And so then the concert that I'm also very excited about is our April concert. So April 26th is we are bringing Doreen Ketchens, who is a world famous jazz clarinetist.
Oh, wow.
I know.
How much fun is that
Right?
going to be?
I'll have to come and bring one of my girls. I have
You
a clarinet
should.
player and I have a flute player.
Fabulous.
So, yes.
I am expecting this concert to sell out, so I would get
definitely.
tickets as soon as possible. You can get your tickets at bryansymphony.org. There's an image that you'll see Josh, and you can click on his face and
It's actually very easy to buy tickets. It is very easy. Sometimes people will be like, go to the website and buy tickets, and you just kind of get down a rabbit hole.
No, it's right at the top.
It is very, very, very easy.
And then the other one is Doreen's face. So, I'm very excited about our upcoming concerts. And then just kind of a big picture, my personal goal is you all have such a wonderful community. And I have found that there are people in the area that don't know we exist.
Always.
Isn't
Always.
that just a thing?
Yep.
And so I really am excited about just making this a community organization. We have some non-music related upcoming activities that we're very excited about. I'm writing a few grants, so knock on wood and hope that we get some of those, because that would really involve the entire community. And that's why our board is so wonderful, because we have people from all walks of life that can really help us to share what we have to offer, and hopefully build beyond the concert hall, right?
And I think everyone appreciates music in their own way.
Yes.
And I've found that people, I had some friends who, when they found out I loved classical music, they were like, I'm just not crazy about classical music. But then when they got on the technical side of watching someone perform, it is a different experience than just, say, listening through the radio.
Yeah.
It is. And so I think that, just like an athlete has to sharpen their skills and become great at what they're trying to accomplish, musicians are no different. It's a disciplined medium. Yeah. And so I love it. I absolutely enjoy just the technical beauty of it all and the precision. But just listening to it, I grew up with classical music and have a deep appreciation. And so knowing that it is always available here is wonderful. Yes. I love the free summer concert series that happen, and that is very important to having families to be able to expose their children to the arts.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a beautiful thing that Bryan Symphony Orchestra does. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time. Please thank the board, and we appreciate that they were smart enough to have a unanimous decision and see clearly that you were obviously the best choice. We hope you stay forever. It has been a joy to know you. I plan to be your friend for a very long time. And if you ever need us, and if you ever need inspiration, we'll trek you out to our waterfalls. And
I like that idea.
And look forward to hearing the music that comes out of it. Tessa, thank you so much for doing all your quote-unquote research today. She's a super fan. You'll have to sign an autograph for her
of course.
after the podcast. And we just encourage our viewing and listening audience to support Bryan Symphony Orchestra and have your family supported as well. It is a wonderful resource to our community. It is a wonderful resource to the Upper Cumberland, and we are just so grateful you are here. Thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Thank you both for having me.
You have been listening to Today in Putnam County with Shan Stout, Tessa Davis, and Susan Miranda. Please support Bryan Symphony Orchestra. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast, and until next week, enjoy the journey.
This has been Today in Putnam County with Shan Stout.